such an amazing world. So what amazing events and stories have we got for this week? 이렇게 놀라운 세상에 얼마나 놀라운 사건들이 이야기들이 우리를 기다리고 있는지 한번 알아보죠. It's time for our ranking show with our one and only Kady in the studio. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
Yeah. How was your week?
It's so good to be back.
Yeah.
이번 주엔 너무 더웠어요.
그러니까요.
진짜 나갈 때마다 약간 삼겹살처럼 구워지는 느낌이에요.
It's the scorching heat. You feel like you're being cooked alive.
Yeah.
그런데 이번 주 왔다 갔다 많이 하는 것 같은데요. 덥다가 또 이제 나름 시원해지면서 또 비 오다가 또 쨍쨍하다가 It's a weird monsoon season.
Right.
But in any case, glad to have you here in an air-conditioned studio.
It's so nice to be here.
It certainly is. All right, let's raise the heat, shall we? 오늘의 토픽이 궁금한데요. 이번 주제는 뭘까요?
네, 오늘 나눠볼 주제는 사기 행각인데요.
사기.
네. 세상에 정직하게 살아가는 사람들이 많은데 그만큼 사기를 치는 사람들 왜 이렇게 많은지 사실 모르겠어요.
Yes, that's right. And we always fall for it. There are new
Yes.
and new scams that come, every year. Voice phishing gets more technologically advanced. It's quite scary. 사기를 쳐서 잘 먹고 잘 사는 사람들 보면 상대적 박탈감 같은 걸 느끼기도 하는데요. 오늘은 또 랭킹으로 알아볼 테니 스케일이 장난 아닌 사기극일 텐데요. 세계에서 탑 5.
That's right. 그리고 사실 더 소름 돋는 게 일부 사기꾼들은 자기가 사기를 치지 않았다고 진실로 믿는다는 거예요. They really think they didn't do anything wrong.
They believe it.
네, 이거 심리학 용어로 리플리 증후군, Ripley syndrome이라고 하는데요. 자신이 하는 거짓말이 진실이라고 믿는 거죠.
그럴 때 있어요.
네.
Sometimes.
아, 경험 있어요?
Yeah. It's not like very big lies, but you start to believe unintentionally you believe it just because you told that lie. So it goes for like a long time ago. 옛날에 like maybe I lied that I did my homework and then 5 years later I recall that memory and I just remember that I said I did my homework. So I believe that I actually did my homework that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you tell yourself the story often enough,
Yeah.
you start to believe it,
Yeah.
at least a little bit. You're
That's
like,
the only
yeah.
thing you remember.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah.
What do you think
그러니까요.
about it?
와, 이게 리플리 증후군, Ripley syndrome이라고 하네요.
네.
Wow, interesting. Okay, 이제 이야기에 들어가기 앞서서 이제 청취자 여러분께 문제 하나 낼 건데요. 세상 수많은 사기 행위 중에서 오늘 1위를 뽑힌 사기는 어떤 종류의 사기일까요? 1번 금융사기, 2번 부동산 사기, 3번 의료 사기.
분이 다 어떻게 생각해요?
I think it'll always be 금융, finance. Would it not? I mean, 부동산일 수도 있어요. I just feel like 의료
요즘 유행이잖아요.
그러니까요.
부동산.
Yeah, 의료 is a bit too narrow. It's a narrow field. Anyone in the medical field, it might be difficult.
That's true, but it's
can't
still a
imagine
very important field.
It is true because everybody
Everybody needs
needs,
it.
yeah,
and
medical
it has such big consequences.
그러네요. 생각해 보도록 하겠습니다.
네, 여러분 좀 한번 생각해 보세요. 맞춰보세요.
네, what type of fraud was ranked number 1 among all biggest frauds? We're going to take a look today. Send us in your guesses. 샵 1013으로 문자 보내주시길 바랍니다. 자, 부터 5위부터 한번 알아볼까요?
좋습니다. Brittany Dunn was a huge popular American fitness influencer. Despite not having any credentials in fitness or nutrition, she was able to use her popularity to sell a fitness coaching program. Her thousands of customers were promised personalized fitness plans, but what they received were generic plans and copy and paste messages like, "You've got this, babe." She refused to refund her clients and instead went on expensive vacations and bought a new mansion. However, when the media attention became too big and even the state of Texas filed a lawsuit against her, she suddenly announced that she had finally found God and turned herself into a Christian influencer. Instead of fitness programs, she now sells expensive tickets to questionable religious conferences and retreats.
이것도 사실 능력이에요. So she scammed them, and she's, I guess, trying to scam them again. Who knows?
Well, that's what it looks like, right?
but it's an ongoing thing. Then.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's not stopping anytime soon.
그러네요. 이제 브리트니 돈은 미국에서 매우 인기 있는 피트니스 인플루언서였다고 하는데요. 이제 피트니스나 뭐 영양에 대한 자격증은 없었지만 인기를 활용하여 이제 피트니스 코칭 프로그램을 판매했습니다. 그녀는 수천 명의 고객에게 개인 맞춤형 피트니스 계획을 짜주겠다 약속했지만 실제로는 이제 할 수 있어 화이팅과 같은 복사 붙여 넣기 식으로 메시지가 받을 뿐이었다고 하는데요. 그녀는 고객에게 환불을 거절하고 비싼 휴가를 즐기고 새로운 재택을 구입했지만 언론의 이제 관심이 커지고 텍사스주 정부조차 그녀에 대한 이제 소송을 제기할 때 그녀는 갑자기 신을 만났다며 크리스천 인플루언서로 이제 전향했다는 식으로 이어졌는데요. 이제 이 브리트니 돈은 이제 피트니스 프로그램 대신 의문스러운 종교적 컨퍼런스와 수련회의 비싼 티켓을 판매하고 있다고 합니다. It's ongoing. ING잖아요. It's interesting how she's still able to have quite a big following.
I think that's only possible because she is kind of using her followers and their love for God right now. Because if she says she's one of them, she also loves God. God tells her to do these things. Then it's hard for other Christians probably to tell her that that's not true.
Sure. I guess you're kind of shifting the responsibility from yourself to the deity.
Exactly.
Of whoever, it's not me, it's God who told me to do this. And therefore, I'm doing it for you guys, and I'm just an instrument, the vessel.
맞아요.
한두 번 들어본 건 아니잖아요. This happens, quite a few
times.
Yeah.
It's a simple excuse for basically anything.
Right. And I think we've seen lots of people get kind of mixed up in these religious cultish type of scams as well. And it seems like this is heading in that direction. But so it says that she was sued then. 소송을 이제 했는데 from the state of Texas.
Right. It got so big that even the state of Texas sued her.
Okay.
And she settled because she probably knew that she had done something
wrong. Right.
And
벌칙금 같은 거 있었나요?
네, 이제 되게 많은 돈 내야 돼요.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's not off the hook completely.
She's not off the hook completely, but the thing is she's still earning a lot of money because she's selling these tickets to her retreat, everything. So to her, it's actually not such a big penalty.
Yeah, because how do you define that as a scam or not? Because it's not like she's not doing it, right? She is doing like the bare minimum. So how can you say it's, this is a scam? So this is where it gets a bit messy and things like that. But apparently, she settled a lawsuit with the state of Texas. 이제 소송을 해결하고 40만 달러의 벌금과 이제 배상금을 지불해야 한다고 하지만, as you said, she still has an income.
Exactly, and that's not that small from what I know.
그러니까요.
For example, if you look at her fitness plans, they said that they would personalize the fitness plans.
그러니까요.
So they charged $92 to $300 per month. 한 달에.
92달러에서 300달러로 가격이 책정돼 있는 이제 피트니스 플랜 가격이었는데요.
But then all you get is like, you go, babe.
화이팅! 오늘 할 수 있다. 잘할 수 있어.
Yeah.
가자. 이런 뜻, 이런 식으로.
얼마나 화나겠어요.
300달러 주고 이런 문제를 받으면.
근데 요즘 이런 피트니스 캠 되게 많다고 들었어요.
Yeah, but I think that like 반면에 like one of my friends signed up for the PT trainer 같은 거를 이제 sign up을 했는데 신청을 했는데 이 PT가 너무 부담스럽게 문자가 너무 많이 받는 거예요. 그래서
혹시 다른 목적 있는 거
여자예요.
그래요?
여자.
뭐 그래도 뭐 알 수 없죠.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but it's just like so extreme where, you have people who scam you and they barely do anything. And then some people who are like nonstop texting you, asking what you ate. 막 다이어트도 다 이제 정보를 보고해야 되고.
그럼 스트레스죠.
맞죠. Yeah. Well, this is incredible. 이게 5위라고 하니까요. 그래도 만만치 않네. 미국이기 때문에 또 40만 달러의 벌금. 만만치 않네요. It's not a small amount of money.
It's not a small amount.
That's
you
true.
can do a lot with that money.
Yeah. 그렇다면 4위로 가보겠습니다. Number 4.
Anna Delvey was born into a working-class family in Moscow. After living in Germany and France, she moved to New York in 2013. There, she started posing as a German heiress with a huge trust fund. She dressed in designer clothes, lived in expensive hotels, always tipped with $100 bills, and became accepted as part of New York's wealthiest elite. Her act was so convincing that banks lent her huge sums of money. Friends paid for her vacations, and hotels and businesses didn't question her credit worthiness. In total, she stole around $270,000 before her friend, who also got scammed by her, finally turned her in. She was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison, but is now under house arrest in her New York apartment. Ironically, a recent Netflix movie about her fraud earned her even more money than her scams did.
이거 들었어요.
네.
I was actually rooting for her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's not like...
Why?
For what I heard, it's not that she was doing anything wrong. Like, she was ending up... I heard that she ended up...
Well,
Okay.
I mean, she scammed a lot of people out of money. She never paid them back.
Did she not pay them back?
She never paid them back.
Okay, so what I heard was that she was just running in circles. So she borrowed some people's money, borrowed other people's money to pay that person back, borrowed more money to pay the other people back, and then it ended up being like a huge amount of money that she was about to...
I think that's her story.
It could be her story. She's a good storyteller.
Yeah, she's a very good storyteller.
And I wanted to root for her because I thought, wow, yeah, it's got that like fake it till you make it kind of thing, but it's got
She didn't get to the make it part.
She didn't. She just faked it.
Yeah.
Kind of sad ending. 이제 아나 델비에 여러분 아실 수도 있지만 아나 델비에는 이제 모스크바에서 일하는 가난한 가정에서 태어났는데요. 그녀는 독일과 프랑스에서 살다가 2013년 뉴욕으로 이사 왔습니다. 거기서 이제 안나는 거대한 유산을 가진 독일 상속자로 위장했고 이제 명품 의료를 입고 고가의 호텔에 머물며 팁으로 항상 $100 지폐를 사용하며 뉴욕의 이제 그 엘리트들 부유층 사회에서 지내며 허세를 부리였다고 합니다. 그래서 안나 델비에는 행동을 본 은행들은 그녀에게 수억 달러의 대출을 주고 의심스럽지 않잖아요. 친구들이 그녀의 이제 휴가 비용을 대신 지불하며 호텔과 기업들이 그녀의 신용의 의문을 제기하지 않게 만들었다고 합니다. 그렇게 그녀는 이제 훔친 총 액수는 친구들에게만 해서 27만 달러에 달한다. 친구에 의해 이제 고소당한 안나 델비는 4년에서 이제 12년 형에 처해질 예정이며 현재는 뉴욕 아파트 이제 구금되어 있지만요. 아이러니하게도 그녀의 이야기를 배경으로 만든 넷플릭스 영화가 그녀가 사기를 친 금액보다 더 많은 액수를 벌어들였다고 하는데요. So is she a scammer in the end?
Well, I guess she made it in the end. She made it.
It's a fun story. I mean, it's terrible as the victim. It kind of goes along with the Tinder swindler story.
Oh, I've heard heard about that.
Yeah, and if you watched it's also on streaming sites as well, and so that becomes a fun story to be entertained by. But obviously, if you have any experience of being swindled, it's very triggering. I would say not to watch it. But let's take a look at a little bit of the story, shall we? So 이제 자신이 다 내겠다며 이제 친구들과 모로코를 여행 가자고 했대요. So she said that she would pay for the trip to Morocco with her friends. 부자니까
Right.
다 할 수 있잖아요. 하지만 결국 이제 이런저런 핑계로 친구가 7만 달러가 넘는 비용을 이제 내게 했고 갚겠다고 약속을 했어요. And that just rolls and rolls around. When that didn't happen, her friend finally reported her.
There were actually some funny details on how she tricked them. So, for example, she would say, "Oh my God, I put my wallet into my suitcase and checked it.
그쵸.
I can't pay. Can you pay for it right now? I'll pay you back later."
Right.
Then like, "Oh my God, my credit card is not working. Can you just pay now and I'll pay you back later?"
굉장히 뻔뻔한 여자만 할 수 있는.
Right.
어떻게 보면 I'm impressed. It's incredible. How do you do that?
I know.
How can you just trick people into paying for $70,000, $30,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars? I mean, it is incredible. And the reason why I compare it to Tinder Swindler is because these people were willing to do it. You know, they were saying like 친구이지만 70만 달러 뭐 이 사람 갚겠지? 라는 생각에
맞아요.
남자친구이던 그냥 여사친구이던 친구로서 빌려주는 거잖아요.
혹시 이런 경험 있었어요?
No, I haven't.
I have.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh no.
I mean, it wasn't that, but it was luckily not. It was not 70만 달러, but it was
10만 원이어도 안 갚으면 그렇잖아요.
Exactly, it was 10만 원. And a friend, someone I worked with, said, "Oh my God, I have to go to the hospital. Can you borrow me 10만 원?" And I was like, I know what it feels like because I had been in a situation like this. So it's like, okay, but pay me back by tomorrow. Okay, yeah, sure. No, but what I didn't know was that he was an alcoholic, and that's where the money went.
Oh no!
Yeah, and then when I wanted to get it back, it turned out that he had already committed all kinds of crimes, and he got kicked out of Korea, and that's how it ended.
Well, there you go.
I learned an expensive lesson.
Justice was served in that case, but for you, it's not like you got that money back.
Yeah.
Terrible to have these things happen to you. There was one time I was in Hawaii and there are quite a few homeless people. homeless 분들이 굉장히 많거든요. 그래서 이제 주유소에 잠깐 쉬었는데 이제 한 사람이 오는 거예요. 자기 뭐 1불, 뭐 5불 줄 수 있냐고 너무 목말라다고. 그래서 조금 두려워가지고 못 주겠다고 했는데 이제 들어가니까 너무 마음이 아픈 거예요. 그래서 다시 들어갔어요. 다시 가려고 이제 물을 사드리려고 했는데 제가 알고 보니까 본인도 이제 알코올을 짚고 나오는 걸 눈 마주쳤어요. 근데 그분의 눈이 너무 죄책감이 있는 걸 보고 I said, "Oh my God, I was gonna get you water. How could you lie to me?" 막 그렇게 얘기했어요. 눈빛이 너무 약간 I don't know if he ever learned his lesson, but he certainly felt really bad. And so I felt bad for him for feeling bad. It was just a
bad situation.
It was a bad situation. Yeah, it was terrible. And I think 인생 살면서 I think there are those situations where you just have to think 이제 빌려주는 돈은 그냥 갚지 않겠다고 생각을 하면서 빌려주는 게 맞는 것 같아요.
Because you never know. Like sometimes people really do the right thing with that money and they really need it in that moment. But there are always those one or two people who don't.
Rotten apples, indeed.
Unfortunately.
Well, real quick, let's take a look at our number 3. 3위 보겠습니다.
네. Dok Wan is a Korean crypto mogul who created the high-yielding stablecoin Terra USD and its sister coin Luna. When the coins collapsed, they destroyed tens of billions of dollars in value. but not before Dok Wan and his partners took $340 million in illegal profits. After the Korean government issued a warrant for his arrest, he went on the run. He was finally arrested at the airport in Montenegro with 3 forged passports, trying to board a private jet to Dubai. He has been charged for fraud in the US and Korea, but first he has to spend 4 months in prison in Montenegro for his forged passports.
Wow. This is what we call 간이 부었어. We talked about this term, to have like a swollen liver. It means like you're not scared of anything? Like,
처음 들어보네요.
간이 부었어?
간이 부었다.
So when we say like 간이 작아, it's like, oh, you're too scared to do anything. 간이 너무 작아. And then 간이 크면, like you're 대범해, you're bold and brave to do anything. 간이 부으면, then it's like just relentless. You're reckless. Can't do anything.
Like a matching term.
Yeah, I agree. 권도형에 대해서 알아보겠습니다. 자, 한국의 암호 화폐 거물로 수익률이 높은 스테이블 코인 테라 USD와 그 자매 코인인 루나를 만든 사람인데요. 해당 코인들이 이제 붕괴되면서 수십억 달러의 가치가 사라졌으며 붕괴 직전 권도형과 그의 파트너들은 불법 이익으로 3억 4천만 달러를 챙겨갔다고 합니다. 한국 정부가 이제 체포 영장을 발부한 후 권도형은 도망을 가기로 했는데요. 그는 몬테네그로로 공항에서 3개의 위조 여권을 가지고 두바이로 가는 개인 제트기를 타려고 했던 중 체포되었습니다. 이제 미국과 한국에서 사기 혐의를 받았으며 먼저 위조 여권으로 인해 몬테네그로에서 4개월을 보고해야 한다고 합니다. Incredible. So, I mean, even for this, 이것도 한 파이낸스 사기잖아요.
맞아요.
금융 사기가 생각보다 많아요.
그 요즘 특히 이런 코인 사기들 되게 많다고 들었어요. 진짜 조심해야 돼요.
Yeah, I mean, I think coin in general feels like a scam to me.
It's 토박.
Right.
It's not really an investment. It's like gambling.
It's a huge risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows if it could work or not for you? And I guess that's the reason people, want to fall for it. I mean, they want to believe that
they
it's
want
true.
it to work. They want the money.
그러니까요.
I want money, but I would honestly never invest in coins, I think. Because so many people, I mean, I don't know about you, but 친구들 중에 이런 식으로 돈 잃은 사람들 진짜 많아요.
Yeah, that's true. Lots of people around me also lost a lot of their money. But I think it becomes like a domino effect. 돈을 잃었기 때문에 또 그런 scam이나, I don't want to call it a scam, but some sort of get rich quick.
Yeah.
그 무언가가 스키가 나타나면 또 하고 싶어 하고 just constant cycle.
Right.
But for this guy, 이 사람 권도형도 아직까지도 굉장히 자신감 있는 식으로 표현을 하는데, so he actually went on 암호화폐 podcast. 여전히 자신을 매우 자신감 있다는 식으로 표현을 하는데요. So on this podcast, he even said 감옥은 그렇게 나쁘지 않다고 말했어요.
사실 다른 사기꾼 그렇게 말했어요.
Oh, he did?
네.
Oh, okay.
권도형한테. So he went on and he was like, oh, well, it's fine. I'm good. And then this other guy came and he was like, don't worry, bro. I've been to prison too. It's not that bad. Because all of these guys eventually
끼리끼리
go
모이는.
down that route. And yeah, that's what happens.
My goodness. To be part of that world, it's a bit scary, I would say.
상상 안 돼요.
Yeah, I can't imagine being part of this, the rich club, the elite, because I doubt that a lot of them get rich in honest ways.
Right.
Somebody's got to do some dirty things to get rich.
Exactly.
이제 세 개의 위조 여권을 소지하고 검거되었음에도 불구하고 권도영은 여전히 도피 중이 아니었다고 주장하고 있다고 하는데요.
네, 그것도 웃겨요. 왜냐면 아직도 자신감 넘쳐요.
Yeah.
아직도 그거 아니었다. 나 도망가는 거 아니었다.
Yeah.
난 그냥 여행 가는 중이었다.
Wow. Yeah. He's got some incredible courage, so to say, to be able to even go on a podcast.
Yeah.
To still represent himself as, this person who knows all, still a, professional, still somebody who is super knowledgeable about finances and to be, a huge scammer as well.
진짜 간이 불었어요.
간이 부었어요. Well, in any case, let's take a quick break here. One more time 이야기 들으면서 세상 수많은 사기 행위 중에서 오늘 1위를 뽑힌 사기는 어떤 종류의 사기일까요? 1번 금융사기, 2번 부동산 사기, 3번 의료 사기. Let us know in the meantime. 5787님의 신청곡 들려드리겠습니다. Here's Shiny Hard. What an amazing world we live in. That's why we have such amazing events and stories to tell you guys with our one and only Amazing World Linking Show. 놀랍고 때로는 섬뜩하기까지 한 이야기들을 파헤쳐 보겠습니다. We have Kady in the studio. 안녕하세요. It's been an interesting week. Lots of news around the world, but something that is always entertaining if we are not the victims is scams.
Right.
Key being we are not the victims.
Only then.
Yes. Only then is when we can judge people and say, why did you believe it? But if someone came and said the same story to us, who knows? 믿을 만한 스토리들이 굉장히 많잖아요. 그래서
그렇죠.
사기들을 당하는 거잖아요.
맞아요.
All right, so we took a look at the top 3 already. But before we move on, 이제 이야기 들어가기 전에 we have one more quiz. 이제 세상 수많은 사기 행위 중에서 오늘 1위로 뽑힌 사기는 과연 어떤 종류의 사기일까요? Number 1, 금융 사기, financial scams. 2번, 부동산 사기, real estate scams. Or 3번, 의료 사기. 더욱더 무서워요.
그쵸,
Medical
그거 사실
scams.
가장 무서운 거 아닐까요?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's the worst one to
happen to
you. Yeah, I mean, it's not only your money, but it could be your health
Exactly.
and so much more. Well, let us know your guesses, your answers. 샵 1013으로 문자 보내주시길 바랍니다. All right, well, let's get to the
ranking.
The ranking.
Yeah.
하기 전에 한 번 더 이제 what do you call it? 리뷰를 해볼까요? So number 5, we had Brittany Dawn. 이제 미국 피트니스 인플루언서로서 이제 personalized plan을 하겠다고 했는데 she was sued with a lawsuit of $400,000 in penalties where she scammed her followers. Number 4, 4위는 Anna Delvey. 여러분은 아실 수 있지만 born in a working class family. Is she German? Is she Russian? Is she French? I mean, just this European stranger who came to the U.S. in New York. Ended up scamming people around her, one particular friend, for $270,000. And then we had number 3. 3번은 뭐였죠?
Probably the most famous Korean scammer, Dok
Right.
Wan. Yeah.
Kwon Do-hyung, the guy, the crypto mogul, so to say, tricked his partners, tricked people around him, where him and his partners took $340 million in illegal profits. 아니, 3억 4천만 달러는? 와, 이게 3위라고 하니까요. 1위 얼만큼 더 클지 궁금하게 됩니다. 그렇다면 2위로 먼저 가보시죠.
The Australian Belle Gibson was one of the first huge wellness influencers on Instagram. By sharing how she was healing her brain tumor with a healthy and clean diet, she quickly amassed a following of over 300,000 followers. She launched her own wellness app, published a book, and worked with huge brands like Apple, which earned her millions of dollars.
Wow.
Many of her followers were struggling with cancer themselves.
Oh, no.
And abandoned their traditional treatment plans to follow Belle's advice instead. But when journalists started looking into her story, they discovered something shocking. Belle had never actually suffered from cancer, and her baseless health advice had further deteriorated the health of her followers.
No.
Some had even died as a result. She was fined $410,000, which she still hasn't paid.
Oh no. How terrible. 이거는 진짜 최악이네요.
So this is really like the 단계 where it's not only about
Money.
but also about health, people's lives.
People's lives. 벨 지본이라는 분인데요. 호주인 벨 지본은 인스타그램에서 가장 큰 웰니스 영향력을 가진 인플루언서 중 한 명이었는데요. 건강하고 깨끗한 식단으로 자신의 뇌 종양을 치료했다는 그녀의 이제 이야기를 공유함으로써 이제 빠르게 30만 명의 이상의 팔로워를 모았습니다. 자신의 웰니스 앱을 출시하고 책을 출판하면서 애플과 같은 대기업과 협업을 했는데 이로써 수백만 달러를 벌었겠죠. 근데 이제 팔로워 중 많은 사람들이 암과 싸우고 있었으며 전통적인 치료 방법을 포기하고 이제 벨 지본 이분의 조언을 따르면서 이제 치료하려고 했지만 이제 언론이 그녀의 이야기를 파헤치기 시작하면서 충격적인 사실을 밝힌 게 벨은 사실 암에 걸린 적이 없었다고 하면서 근거 없는 건강 조언은 그녀의 팔로워의 건강을 더욱 악화시켰을 뿐이었습니다. 일부는 이로 인해 사망했을 정도였는데요. 벌금으로 41만 달러의 부과 받았지만 아직까지도 납부하지 못했다고 합니다. Incredible. Yeah, what a story. And it feels like of all the money that we've, heard about and read about today, being fined $410,000 doesn't seem much.
Especially for like literally killing people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it's so many things where you can argue that actually, you're free to say whatever you want. You're free to say, make up the story, because social media, it's all a facade anyway. We all know it's all a facade. But people who actually believe it, and if you're talking about like medical advice, this is what I did, and you're trying to quote unquote help people. And it's not by like losing weight or diet or anything like that. It's something that people, struggle with to survive, actually, survive so they can live another day and to take advantage of that. Wow, it's another kind of evil.
Right, and she's one of those people who still stick to her story. She
그래요?
still says that she had cancer, which she never had.
이분이
She's still insisting. Yeah, the Ripley syndrome.
그러네요. 리플리
Yeah, that's what it
증후군.
seems to be like.
이제 말씀드리자면 일부 사기꾼들이 이제 자기 사기를 치지 않았다고 진심으로 믿는다고 하셨잖아요. 심리학적으로 이제 리플리 신드롬이라고 하니까 자신이 하는 거짓말 진실이라고 믿는 거라고 하는데 그렇다면 이분 벨 깁슨도 아직까지도 믿는다고 하는 거죠. 근데 증거가 없는 거잖아요. There's no proof that she had
아예
cancer.
없었고 그리고 사실 이런저런 스토리들 만들었어요. 나 오늘 병원에 갔다. 근데 사실 간 적 없어요.
Oh no.
안 갔어요.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't just say that she had cancer once, but she kept adding to the story. So then she said, my cancer is back. It's stage 4 brain cancer. But then she healed it again. And so it was not just one simple lie. She
그러네요.
kept it up for years.
덧붙여서 이제 계속해서 it's called a snowball, right? We just make into a bigger and a bigger lie, and she eventually got caught. And that's quite interesting that somebody of a sane mind. So so then we talk about like her psychological state. How can you believe that you had brain cancer but you didn't? And then lead people into thinking that this lifestyle can cure you from a non-existing cancer that she had and apparently overcame time and time again. It's giving false hope as well.
Yeah, I mean, the question is if she's just a pathological liar or if she actually, some people, they really believe that they're sick. But then it wouldn't add up that she said that she went to the hospital and she got this diagnosis.
Right. Yeah, I can see that as well, and to give her, the benefit of the doubt, some people, as you say, 진짜 아프다고 믿는 사람들도 있잖아요. 별거
맞아요.
아니긴 하지만 그래서 it becomes like an illness because you believe it. That's why they say
because you stress out so much over it.
Right. That's why they say to be careful of what you think because your mind is very powerful.
That's true.
But then, like you said, if you're able to say 오늘 아파서 병원에 갔다 왔다. 근데 사실은 안 갔다 왔는데
맞아요.
그런 얘기를 하니까 그런 포스트도 하니까 그게 굉장히 약간 괘씸할 수도 있고 어떻게 이렇게 How can you deceive people in that
이거
way?
제가 알기에는 병원 사진도 올렸어요. 근데 자기가 찍은 사진 아니라 다른
like a stock photo?
환자가 올린 사진들 그냥 캡처해서
리포스팅을 했어요.
자기 인스타그램에 올렸어요.
Oh my gosh, my goodness. And so, I mean, if you look at her, she's, this beautiful young lady, blonde, slim, extremely photogenic. And so, obviously, a person like that has that appeal that could promote a book claiming that she would donate a large part of the proceeds to charity, which she never did.
She never did.
이제 출판을 하면서 이 책을 이익 다 모두 기부를 하겠다 했는데도 그것도 안 하셨고 she also refused to pay her fine. She went on vacations to Kenya and did like a TV interview there. Apparently, she was paid $75,000 for doing that as well.
Yeah, but she keeps saying that she has no money whatsoever, and that's why she can't pay the fine.
Wow. Where does the lie end? Who knows? But in any case,
끝이 없어요.
이게 2위라고 하니까요. 1위는 얼마나 더 끔찍할까요? 1위 듣기 전에 노래 한 곡 들려드리겠습니다. Here's Oh My Girl, Liar Liar. Oh My Girl, Liar Liar. As we take a look at the biggest liars in the world. My goodness, we are here on Amazing World Ranking Show as we take a look at the biggest scams around the world. And so our question is, what is the biggest scam? So 오늘 1위로 뽑힌 사기는 어떤 종류의 사기일까요? 1번 금융사기, 2번 부동산 사기, 3번 의료 사기. I mean, we took a look at the medical scam and it's just, wow. It's heartbreaking that somebody would actually go through those links to deceive people and then believe it. And then constantly or continuously work in that character, that personality that they created. Very interesting indeed. All right, let's take a look now at number 1. 과연 1위는 어떤 내용일까요?
In 2003, Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of Stanford to start a blood testing company called Theranos. She claimed that her company had developed a revolutionary technology that required only a single drop of blood to run more than 200 different blood tests. Despite never revealing any technological details, she managed to raise hundreds of millions of dollars in funding, and the company rose to a value of $9 billion. However, in 2015, 2 former employees alarmed the authorities. The following investigation uncovered that Theranos had been using blood testing machines from competitors to analyze patients' blood samples. Their own technology was a complete scam. Elizabeth Holmes was sentenced to 11 years in prison, and Theranos became the biggest scam in Silicon Valley's history.
Wow. This is also like kudos that you were able to fool this many people.
She was probably one of the biggest scammers in the world.
Yeah, I bet so. Okay, so let's take a look-see here. 일리자베스 홈스의 내용인데요. 2003년 일리자베스 홈스는 스탠포드 중퇴하고 테라노스이라는 혈액 검사 회사를 창립합니다. 그녀는 자사가 혁신적인 기술을 개발하여 단 한 방울의 피로 200가지 이상의 혈액 검사를 수행할 수 있다고 주장을 했는데요. 기술적인 세부 상황을 공개하지 않았음에도 불구하고 이제 수억 달러의 자금을 모금하며 회사의 가치를 90억 달러로 끌어올렸다고 합니다. 대단한 거죠. 그러나 2015년 전 직원 2명이 당국에 신고하여 사건이 드러났습니다. 이어진 조사에서는 테라노스가 경쟁사의 혈액 검사 장비를 사용하여 환자의 혈액 샘플을 분석했다는 사실을 밝혔으면서 그들의 자체 기술은 사기였던 것을 나타냈습니다. So, 엘리자베스 홈스는 11년의 징역형을 선고받았으며 테라노스는 실리콘밸리 역사상 가장 큰 사기 사건으로 알려졌다고 합니다. Oh my gosh. Can you walk me through this one? Because I don't really see the big deal. And I know that it is a scam. But so what is the important, like the main point of this?
So the main point was that she convinced very big investors to give her millions and millions of dollars
Right.
for a technology that would really revolutionize blood testing. Because right now you need a lot of blood to do 200 different tests, right? But if you just need one little drop, that would change everything.
Game changer.
Yeah, for like people with diabetes or like basically any disease, you always need to do blood tests. So it was a huge thing. And she always took the money on the condition that she didn't have to reveal any details. And then as this continued on for over 10 years, they were already doing blood work for patients.
I see.
And when they used their own tests, so their own machine, it came out wrong. But they never revealed that and instead just started using other machines as well to get at least some correct tests.
I see.
But none of those were like, usually you have to reveal what you're using and how you get to those results because it changes so much for the patient. And then it turned out that almost none of the results were correct. They were just sending out wrong blood results.
Sure.
And that's how it all started. And then 2 employees came forward and they said it's catastrophic. They can't take that anymore.
Oh my.
And that this is wrong. And it's so dangerous.
I wonder if she knew what she was doing was wrong.
Well,
Because sometimes I feel like, you know, 하려고 하지만 이게 잘 안 돼가지고 you try to like fix it, try to put some tape on it, try to glue it up and things like that. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's actually a question because she still says, like, she doesn't admit any fault. And she says that failure is not a crime. Trying our hardest and coming up short is not a crime.
이 사람도 좋은 storyteller이네요. Yeah. What an impressive storyteller. I mean, so she was named the youngest self-made billionaire. Self-made female billionaire with a net worth of $4.5 billion. 다 30살의 여신 기록이잖아요. So for a while, she was celebrated. The new Steve Jobs.
그 정도의 규모였어요.
그쵸. She spoke with an unusually deep voice, apparently.
Yeah, that was also interesting because she always seemed a bit off. Her voice was like really, really deep for a woman. And it was probably to give people a feeling of, oh, I can trust her because usually if you have a deep voice, you sound very calm, very
stable,
convincing,
맞아요.
stable,
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
That happens in a lot of like 뉴스 앵커분들도 미국에서 일부러 음색이라고 해야 돼? 음색을 낮추거든요. To have like a credible voice and things like that. They'll put it down here to be more masculine and affirming and things like that.
맞아요.
Yeah, and so, you know, up till that I can, you know, yeah, I don't know. It's believable. You want to root for her. You want to believe in give her the benefit of doubt.
But the thing is also she did not stop her scams there. So then she was sentenced to 11 years in prison, right? But suddenly she got married and then she got a kid and then she got another kid. And by that she could delay starting her prison sentence.
미국은 그런 법도 있네요.
네.
이제 아직 어떠한 잘못도 인정하지 않았으면서도 이제 갑작스럽게 결혼을 하면서 2명의 아이를 낳았기 때문에 이로써 이제 복역을 연기할 수 있었다고 합니다.
And now, suddenly, I have to add that. Suddenly her voice is back to normal.
Oh, now it's higher. Yeah.
Yeah, suddenly she looks different. She talks different.
Yeah. Well, it's an incredible story. So many interesting stories. Hopefully you stay safe from all these different scams. 제니님께서는 오늘 재밌는 주제네요. 와우, 간이 부었네. 라고 보내주시는데. All of these people have swollen livers. 간이 엄청 많이 부었죠. Well, in any case, Kady님 덕분에 너무 즐거운 시간을 보냈습니다.
저도 너무 재밌었어요.
Thank you once again. We'll have to see you again next week. And we'll leave you guys with our final song. Here is Tiara with 거짓말. 여러분, 내일 봬요.
안녕.